You're looking at the 2023 Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak, and I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this car. Before we do though, big thank you to Chanel from Mark, Fick, and Ford from giving us this vehicle to review. Link in the description, and this is for sale for only $75,000 too, which is a pretty good deal in today's market. Let's start with what's under this hood. So once you open the hood, you get presented with a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that makes 717 horsepower and 656 pound-feet of torque. So yes, this car does weigh 4,400 pounds, but you get so much horsepower in this thing that you can do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and the quarter mile in under 12 seconds. Now let's take a look at what you get on the outside of this car. So starting with the front end, right on the hood you have two massive vents to help feed air into that engine. Also on the Hellcats, right here on the headlight, that is opened up so air can flow through there. On any other car, that is closed off. Now also in the front here, you have a 2-level grille setup. You have a big one right here and another big one down here, and right on the top grille you get that SRT badge. Whenever I pass that when I'm driving in traffic, I just think to myself, oh, the day I get to drive one, which is today. So all in all, Challengers look really, really good. I think no matter the spec you get, I did say in a Charger review that Chargers look better, but these are more true to the muscle heritage. I love how they kept this design through all of the years they made these. Now let's check out the side of the Jailbreak. So as for your wheels, you're gonna get 20-inch wheels, and because this is not the wide body, as you can tell with no fenders on the side, your tires are gonna be 275 in width up front. And look at these brakes. Those are massive 6-piston brakes that have SRT written on them, and that looks so good. And also right on the side of this car, you get another Hellcat badge that you cannot miss. So moving along to the back of the Challenger, you're also going to have 20-inch wheels back here, and these tires are also 275 in width. That is one reason to get the wide body, because when you're dealing with 717 horsepower, you seriously need grip, and it is almost impossible to get all of that power to grip despite this thing weighing 4,400 pounds. However, you could look at the other side of that though. You can do burnouts in this thing and have a ton of fun if you want to. Also, maybe this is just me, but I've always loved the fuel caps that are on Challengers. I think they're so unique and it fits the styling of the car perfectly. Now, if you take a look at the back end of the Challenger, the one thing you notice right away that makes this different from most other Challengers is the fact that you get another SRT badge. I love how they have one for the front, one for the side, and one for the back. No matter the angle that you look at this car, you know what you're looking at. Also, this one has a nice big spoiler that goes across the entire back end of the car. However, this is not unique to the Hellcat, so makes it a little bit less special, but it still does fit this body style really well. Also, these taillights look great. You get Dodge going across your trunk lid. And also on the bottom of this car, you get 2 exhaust tips. And take a listen to how this sounds. Here we are driving the 2023 Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. Oh my gosh. Guys, this feels extra special because this is the last time this car's ever being made. They're going electric, and this is the ultimate one you can get. Yes, you can step up to the Red Eye, which makes 797 horsepower, but this thing is pretty dang close. And the fact that it's for sale for only $75,000 is one of the coolest things if you ask me. Yes, 75 is a lot of money, but when you look at the market today, that's not a bad deal. Let's get on in a little bit. Oh my gosh, that supercharged whine. When you hear it in the videos, it is just as good in person. Holy moly. And yes, this thing absolutely moves. I mean, I didn't even floor it and this thing was spinning in the back. 717 horsepower. Now, 4,400 pounds definitely weighs this car down quite a bit. So it's not like as fast as you might think when you hear 717 horsepower, but it absolutely moves this thing. Do not downplay this thing's speed at all. It is an incredible driving experience. Man, I've done the RT, I have done the Scat Pack, I have not done the V6 model yet. This thing just brings it to a whole new level. Now, I would imagine the extra 10 horsepower from the regular Hellcat is not going to be a huge difference maker, but I mean, 700 plus, you're in a car that is very, very serious. And, you know, people are gonna look at you a lot when you drive this thing. I'm sure I have like 3 people staring at me right now. This thing, oh, if you feel so special in it too, you get to stare at SRT right here with this performance page thing, keeping track of all of your metrics right there. And, well, you really just want to access the sound of that supercharger as soon as you can. So as soon as this turns green, we're gonna take off just a little bit. Here we go. Oh my gosh, it is, yeah, it's way too easy to spin this thing. That is one major flaw of this car. Sometimes you just want to get grip and take off, but you really got to be rolling at like 70, 80 miles an hour to floor this thing and get the grip that you need. Oh my gosh, guys, I cannot believe I'm actually in this thing right now. It has 459 miles on this car. So seriously, for $75,000, I told Chanel, I was like, I might buy this thing. I mean, that is, for what dealerships are asking for with these cars, that is something to actually consider looking at. For some wide body scat packs, I've seen the new ones go for $65,000 at dealerships. Why would you not just spend an extra $10,000 to get, yes, this is not a wide body, it's a narrow body, but it's still a Hellcat Jailbreak. Like, come on, this thing is so cool. And also you get to add that little jailbreak piece to the end of Hellcat, which just makes it that much more cool. And we got to test out those brakes a little bit there. They work quite well. All right, here we go. Let's roll down the windows a little bit. When you put the windows down, you can hear the supercharger even more. I mean, the supercharger is way more present than the exhaust note, probably because we're closer to the supercharger than we are to the exhaust in the back. Oh my gosh. And looking at that speedometer, how fast it can climb is so cool to stare at. And guys, driving Challengers, like you're in a big, long vehicle. I'm kind of used to it now because I've driven a few Challengers before and other very long, lengthy, heavy vehicles. So it's definitely growing on me in terms of how comfortable I am driving it. But I don't know, it's just weird when you first get in it because you have to get used to the sort of dimensions of the vehicle. And this is just a box. It's a huge engine inside of a box. This is the definition of just an American car. Like, it is absolutely absurd. Wow, driving experience, I just wish it had more grip. It's very comfortable to sit in here. You could easily just cruise and forget that you're in a 700 plus horsepower vehicle. So you have all the amenities you need and the comfort that you need. I just wish performance-wise, it gripped just a tad bit more. That would be good. Let's jump over to SRT mode and make sure we are, all right, we're in track now. Let's do another quick roll. Yeah, you don't never really notice a big difference when you switch between drive modes in this car. But again, this car is different from all the other ones that just obsess over like engineering and all these different tech things and features. This is just like, hey, get in a car that has 717 horsepower and just see what happens. And that's why I really do like these cars. Man, this thing is an absolute blast to sit in. It's awesome to drive. And again, for $75,000, this is a steal in today's market. And I say that honestly, like, it's a brand new 2023 Jailbreak. So I am very pleased to see the price point that this thing is listed at. So to summarize the driving experience in this car, it's just at a whole new level compared to the Scat Pack. Like, you can actually floor the Scat Pack and not really be concerned about the traction problems at all, really. This one, you floor it, you're losing traction. It is absurd. And here we are at this beautiful Ford dealership with an absolutely awesome collection. Check out their inventory in the description, guys. And they're very nice people as well. So if you're gonna buy a car, these guys will take care of you. Now let's take a look at everything that you get inside of here. So this is still a Dodge. You're gonna see a lot of similarities with the RT or the GT or the SXT. Right when you open up the door on this thing, you'll notice that the door panel is pretty much the exact same. There's no difference. One thing that's interesting to me is where the door handle is placed. When I first drove a Challenger, I had trouble finding where it was, but it's very unique. All right, it's weird how it's low like that. But take a look at the seats that you get in here. First of all, they hold you really well and they can fit a big person if they need to. They also have SRT in white right below your headrest, and that looks really good. Now, when you take a seat in this thing, my favorite thing about Hellcats is that you actually get something different in the center of the steering wheel. You get SRT in the center of the steering wheel, which is reserved for these cars. The Scat Packs, even though they're considered SRTs, don't have SRT written on the steering wheel, so this feels special. The steering wheel has really nice leather on it and white stitching to go with it. It is big and bulky and feels good. It fits the car nice. Now, right in the gauge cluster here, you'll notice notice your red line is 5,750 RPM, which is actually pretty low. In fact, it's lower than the Scat Pack. But that means you have access to 717 horsepower real quick if you need it. There's also a screen right in the center of the gauge cluster that is digital, and you can surf between options for what you want to see or look at. And if you take a look at the speedometer in here, this thing goes up to 200 miles per hour. And by the way, it has no issues getting up there. Now let's take a look at the center console in here. So you have two cup holders that are diagonally placed. You have your shifter, of course, and then right above that, you have all of your controls for this car. The two that are worth pointing out are the fact that you have SRT on there, and if you click that, it takes you to a very special spot in the infotainment system. But before we talk about that, next to that is launch. And if you want to launch this car, click that and you'll immediately get taken to the launch control inside of the infotainment system. Now let's check out this infotainment system. I really believe Dodges have the coolest infotainment systems ever. It's like it's built for a kid, but that's what you want when you're in a car as an adult. So first of all, you'll notice that you have driver and passenger heated and cooled seats. You also have a heated steering wheel, which is really nice, but the fun is when you click SRT mode and SRT dashboard. Let's start out with SRT mode. So click that and you'll see you can individually configure all of your drive modes, from your transmission, your paddle shifters, your traction, your suspension, and your steering. And you have two options. You can individually customize those, or you can select the pre-configured options like track or sport. Now, if you go back to apps and click SRT dashboard, this is really where the fun happens. So first of all, you get taken right to your launch control access, where you can launch this car all the way up to 2,500 RPM. And at that point, you're already at over 300 horsepower within the power band. So that might not be the best idea. And if you look to the left of that, you'll see shift light. If you click that, you can activate shift light so that when you're getting close to your red line, it'll blink for you to let you know you need to shift. And below shift light is activate line lock. So if you just want to straight up do a burnout, that's what this car is built for. Now you'll notice in the bottom right corner of this infotainment system, there's something called performance pages. Let's click that. Once it finishes loading, you'll see that you have live readings about almost every single thing in this car. It is so cool. So first of all, on the home page, you'll see that you have a live horsepower rating, your current gear, your 0 to 60 timer, your G-force meter, and if you want, you can add and replace widgets. And if you click timers right below that, you get to see all of the times that this car has been able to run. 60 feet, 330 feet, 0 to 60 times, quarter mile times, even your reaction time. This gives you everything. And if you click gauges right below timers, you're able to see your oil temperature, oil pressure, coolant temperature, and battery voltage. And below gauges is G-forces. So if you want to see exactly how many G's you're hitting at any given moment, you're able to see that. And it also, on the right-hand side, keeps track of your peak G-forces you've ever hit. Now, right below G-force is engine. If you click that, you get this awesome circular chart that shows you all of the live readings of your car, but in this cool manner. And you get to see your horsepower and your torque. But probably even better than that is the dyno graph right below engine, where it actually records 120 seconds of history to show you how much horsepower and torque you've been using, as well as how much of the RPM band you've used. Now, to the right of the infotainment system, if you have any passengers in here, which people will want to ride with you, they get to stare at a jailbreak plaque right on the air vent of the dash of this car. Also, right in between the back and the front seats, you do get a nice little storage space that is pretty deep. You get two USB ports in there as well, and you'll notice when you open this thing up, there's a nice consistent theme of white stitching that runs along this car, along with the white SRT that's embroidered into your seats. And if you're wondering about the back seats, not a whole lot changed back there compared to the lesser specs or trim levels. You don't even get SRT in the back, which is kind of a disappointment. All in all, this car is awesome, but the best part is the fact that it's $75,000. When I asked Chanel what the price is and she said 75, I was expecting to hear like 95 to 110. So if you are interested in this car, make sure you check out the description and see all of the awesome vehicles they have for actually good prices. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.